Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most debated and controversial topics in recent history. Was 9/11 an inside job? This event, which occurred on September 11, 2001, continues to evoke questions and conspiracy theories. In this video, we will explore the hijackings, where the planes crashed, the Twin Towers structure, public reactions, America's response, and much more. So, let's begin with the events leading up to that fateful day. To understand the events of 9/11, we must first look at the broader context. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 terrorists associated with the extremist group al-Qaeda hijacked 4 commercial airliners. These terrorists were led by Osama bin Laden. The hijackings involved 4 planes: American Airlines Flight 11, United Airlines Flight 175, American Airlines Flight 77, and United Airlines Flight 93. American Airlines Flight 11, departing from Boston's Logan International Airport, was the first to be hijacked. It was flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The impact was devastating, and eventually, the North Tower collapsed. United Airlines Flight 175 was hijacked shortly after takeoff from Boston. It struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center, causing massive destruction. Within hours, the South Tower also collapsed. American Airlines Flight 77, which had taken off from Washington Dulles International Airport, was hijacked and crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. This attack on the Pentagon further escalated the crisis. United Airlines Flight 93, the last of the 4 hijacked planes, was en route to Washington, D.C. Passengers on board fought back, and the plane ultimately crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. While the exact target of Flight 93 remains unknown, it's widely believed to have been the U.S. Capitol or the White House. Now, let's delve into the structure of the Twin Towers. The World Trade Center's Twin Towers, designed by Minoru Yamasaki and completed in the early 1970s, were iconic landmarks of New York City. Each tower stood 110 stories tall and consisted of a steel-framed structure with an outer skin of aluminum and glass. These buildings were known for their strength and were designed to withstand the impact of a Boeing 707, a common passenger plane at the time. The profound impact of 9/11 on the United States is undeniable. But what if, in an alternate reality, the September 11th attacks never occurred? We all recall the horrifying events of September 11, 2001. 2 planes hijacked and crashing into the World Trade Center, another into the Pentagon, and a 4th ending up in a field in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost, leading to the United States declaring a war on terror, invading Taliban-controlled Afghanistan, and launching efforts to dismantle al-Qaeda. Now, let's explore the potential outcomes in this alternate universe. Without any attacks resembling 9/11, the most immediate change would be in Afghanistan. In the absence of the need for military intervention, the Taliban might have continued to govern, unchallenged by American forces. The question arises: would they still hold power today? Speculations about the alternative 2000s abound, but the truth remains elusive. 9/11 was a watershed moment that significantly altered the U.S.'s global outlook. The attacks provided the impetus and support necessary for invading a foreign nation. Without 9/11, it's improbable that the American public would have supported the invasion and occupation of a Middle Eastern country. In this alternative timeline, if smaller-scale terrorist attacks targeted American locations or bases, the U.S. would still have taken action against al-Qaeda and jihadist groups, albeit on a smaller scale. This might have involved missile strikes, special forces operations, and eventually drone attacks against these groups in Afghanistan and possibly other regions. This alternative war on terror would be a series of loosely connected operations against various jihadist groups, lacking the scale and intensity of our reality. Even in the absence of 9/11 and the subsequent war on terror, the world would still face challenges. The Great Recession, triggered by factors like the housing bubble and banking crises, would have occurred independently of the war on terror. The Arab Spring, a series of uprisings across the Middle East, would likely still have taken place, with people rising against oppressive regimes. The United States would undergo significant changes in this alternate timeline. Without 9/11, President George W. Bush's presidency would focus more on domestic issues, leading to a different perception of him domestically and internationally, and would probably still be re-elected. 9/11 wasn't just about the tragic events but also the transformation of government-citizen interactions and the emergence of constitutional debates. In this alternate reality, these debates and issues might not exist. In the end, 9/11's significance isn't limited to the tragedy itself but also the profound shift it brought about. altering the course of our future. Given that this event is relatively recent, the true consequences are impossible to fully grasp. As news of the attacks spread, the world watched in shock and disbelief. Images of the planes striking the towers were broadcast globally, leaving people stunned and horrified. The entire nation was plunged into mourning. Candlelight vigils, memorials, and expressions of solidarity emerged across the United States and around the world. Following the 9/11 attacks, the United States swiftly initiated a response. President George W. Bush declared a war on terror, vowing to bring those responsible to justice. The US and its allies invaded Afghanistan to dismantle al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban regime from power, as Afghanistan had become a safe haven for terrorists. Domestically, the Department of Homeland Security was established to enhance national security and counter-terrorism efforts. The USA Patriot Act was enacted, granting law enforcement agencies expanded surveillance powers. The Transportation Security Administration was formed to bolster airport security. Now, let's address the conspiracy theories surrounding 9/11. While the official account of 9/11 is widely accepted, some individuals and groups have put forward alternative theories. These include claims of controlled demolition, insider trading, and government complicity. It's essential to note that extensive investigations, including the 9/11 Commission report, have debunked many of these conspiracy theories, attributing the attacks to al-Qaeda. In conclusion, the events of 9/11 were a tragic and deeply impactful series of terrorist attacks. The hijackings, the destruction of the Twin Towers, the immediate reactions, and America's response all played significant roles in shaping the world as we know it today. As we remember the lives lost and the heroic efforts made on that fateful day, it's crucial to critically examine the evidence, remain open to facts, and promote dialogue rather than unsubstantiated conspiracy theories. Now we will see into the aftermath of 9/11, the 9/11 Commission report, and alternative theories surrounding the events. After the 9/11 attacks, the world changed in profound ways. Nations around the world expressed solidarity with the United States, and many implemented stricter security measures to prevent future terrorist attacks. Surveillance and intelligence sharing efforts were intensified, and airport security underwent significant reforms. One of the most critical investigations into the 9/11 attacks was the 9/11 Commission report. The 9/11 Commission, formerly known as the National Commission on Terrorist Attacks upon the United States, was established in late 2002. Its purpose was to provide a comprehensive account of the circumstances surrounding the attacks and to make recommendations for preventing future attacks. The commission was composed of a diverse group of experts, including former politicians, diplomats, and security professionals. The report, released in 2004, concluded that the attacks were carried out by 19 al-Qaeda terrorists under the leadership of Osama bin Laden. It emphasized failures in intelligence sharing and communication as contributing factors to the attacks. The report also provided a series of recommendations to improve national security, leading to several reforms. Despite the extensive investigations and the conclusions of the 9/11 Commission, alternative theories have persisted. Some conspiracy theories suggest that the Twin Towers were brought down by controlled demolition, rather than the impact of the planes and subsequent fires. Others claim that insider trading occurred, pointing to unusual stock market activity before 9/11. A subset of alternative theories suggests government involvement, alleging that elements within the US government orchestrated or allowed the attacks to further political agendas. Experts, including engineers and architects, have debunked the controlled demolition theory. The collapse of the Twin Towers can be explained by the impact of the planes and the subsequent fires weakening the building's steel structure. Investigations into insider trading have shown that the unusual stock market activity can be attributed to various factors unrelated to the attacks. Claims of government involvement lack substantial evidence. The complexity of such a conspiracy involving thousands of individuals makes it highly implausible. Conspiracy theories surrounding 9/11 serve as a reminder of the importance of critical thinking. Questioning and examining evidence is essential, but it's equally important to base conclusions on credible information and rigorous analysis. The events of 9/11 left an indelible mark on the world. The United States established the Department of Homeland Security, which continues to play a significant role in national security efforts. International cooperation against terrorism intensified, leading to alliances like the Global War on Terrorism and NATO's engagement in Afghanistan. Air travel security procedures underwent significant changes, with the introduction of stricter screening measures. In the aftermath of 9/11, Various memorialization efforts were undertaken to honor the victims and ensure that the tragedy would never be forgotten. The 9/11 Memorial in New York City, featuring reflecting pools in the footprints of the Twin Towers, stands as a somber reminder of the lives lost. The Pentagon Memorial, also in Arlington, Virginia, pays tribute to the victims of Flight 77. The Flight 93 National Memorial in Pennsylvania preserves the crash site of United Airlines Flight 93, honoring the bravery of its passengers. Anniversary commemorations, such as the Tribute in Light, help maintain the memory of 9/11 and its impact. As we navigate a world filled with information and misinformation, critical thinking remains essential. Media literacy helps individuals distinguish credible sources from misleading information. Fostering dialogue allows us to address concerns and differences constructively. The lessons from 9/11 remind us that seeking common ground and understanding is vital in an interconnected world. In conclusion, the events of 9/11 were a turning point in history, shaping global politics, security measures, and the way we remember tragedy. As we remember the lives lost and the heroes who emerged on that fateful day, let's also remember the importance of unity, dialogue, and critical thinking in our search for truth. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the events of 9/11 and the conspiracy theories surrounding them. We hope this series has provided clarity and encouraged thoughtful reflection. If you found this video informative, please like and share it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We'll see you next time.